All right, so you opened your calendar this morning, 3 weeks out, still empty. You refreshed your email, nothing. You checked your CRM, same dead leads from 2 months ago. And for the first time, you thought, how much longer can I keep this going? So it was 6 months ago. That was a story I heard from one of our board of directors coaching clients. He ran a $1.2 million agency, worked 65 hours a week, and his pipeline was completely dry. He was so stressed that he couldn't sleep. And he was completely freaking out thinking that he'd need to start laying off employees. But today he's got 28 qualified appointments on his calendar, 0 ad spend. So what changed? Well, he stopped violating the one fundamental rule that 96% of all business owners completely ignore. I'm Charles Gaudet, and in the next 9 minutes or so, I'm going to show you exactly what that rule is and the 3 strategies to fix your dead pipeline in the next 30 days. But I got to warn you, one of these strategies involves a tool hiding inside of LinkedIn that almost nobody knows exists. And when I show it to you later in this video, you're going to kick yourself for not knowing about it sooner. So if you're tired of the feast and famine cycles, listen up. I run Predictable Profits. Now, we've helped dozens of B2B agencies turn dead pipelines into record months. In fact, one agency owner, and this is a direct quote, told me, "My business doesn't even look or feel the same." Hey, several of our board of directors members, they're setting 2 to 5 qualified appointments every single day without ads or cold calls. So when you think about it, that's 10 to 25 sales conversions every single week. Now, I've built multiple 7-figure companies, trained 8 and 9-figure sales teams, and what I'm about to show you is the exact system that we use to generate buyer-ready leads on demand. And this is in theory. It's what's working right now. But before I show you the 3 strategies, you need to understand why your leads dried up in the first place. So here's the brutal truth. You broke what I call the setup operating system. Now, most businesses think lead gen is just one thing, but it's not. There are 3 distinct phases. You've got create demand, that's igniting market interest, capture demand, which is converting interest into leads, and then nurture demand, which is making leads sales ready. So here's where you screwed up. You tried to ultimately shortcut the process. You see, earlier this week, I spoke with the CEO who ran a $2 million consulting firm, and that was built through mostly word of mouth and referrals. Now, she posted on LinkedIn twice a week, nice content, good engagement, but 0 leads. Why? See, she was creating demand, but she wasn't capturing it. No opt-ins, no retargeting, no system to turn attention into appointments. She's kind of like, this fisherman throwing bait into the water, but refusing to use a net. See, here's what you need to understand. 96% of all buying behavior happens before a prospect gets on the phone with you. Now, that means that if you're not strategically guiding prospects through their buyer's journey, you're dead in the water. See, you can't just throw up a website and expect leads. You can't just post randomly on LinkedIn and then hope somebody calls. You can't just rely on referrals and pray your pipeline stays full. That's not a system. That's gambling. And when you gamble with lead gen, you lose every time. But here's the good news. There are proven strategies to fix this, and I'm about to give you 3 of them. The first strategy, it's called the market research campaign. And this is our highest performing strategy for creating demand. And it's stupidly simple. And instead of pitching, you're reaching out to your ideal clients with this. Hey, Kara, we commissioned a study on the top 2025 marketing and sales strategies in your industry. Now we're interviewing 25 top leaders to understand what's working and what's not. Would you be open to a quick 9-minute conversation? We'll share all the results with the participants. Now that was just an example. You'd have to change name with whoever you're emailing to and the specific challenge in your industry. But again, you're just writing them this quick short message. Hey, name, we commissioned a study on whatever their challenge is in your industry. We're interviewing the top 25 leaders to understand what's working and what's not. Would you be open to a quick 9-minute conversation? We'll share the results with all participants. Do you see what just happened? See, you became the expert asking questions, not the desperate salesperson begging for a meeting. Now, 2 weeks ago, my rockstar team member Jerson, he used this exact approach. Now, he reached out to 50 agencies. Of the 50 agencies, 23 responded, 18 agreed to interviews, and I expect about 11 will turn into qualified sales opportunities. So when you do the math, that's a 46% response rate and a 22% conversion to pipeline. Now, you show me a cold email that does that, but you have to understand why this works. So number one, we have authority, positioning. See, you're the researcher, not the vendor. Next, we have reciprocity. You get valuable benchmark data as a result in participating in this report. Thirdly, social proof, because we're interviewing 25 top leaders. They want to be included. They want to be one of the top leaders. They want to be recognized. And number four, low commitment. See, 15 minutes? That feels completely manageable. Now, here's the real result. That strategy, that's currently setting, on average, 2 to 5 appointments every single day for our business and for many of our clients that do this the right way. So here's how you're going to have to do this. First, you got to identify your super consumer. Now, if you're new to our strategies and you don't know what that means, essentially your super consumer is your best prospects. Secondly, you've got to pick one problem that they all face. Then send the research invite. And what we're finding is the best initial approach for sending that research invite is using LinkedIn. LinkedIn over email. Then fourth, you really do want to conduct genuine, and I mean genuine interviews. Look, this is a real study that you are putting together. So you want to conduct real interviews. You're going to get amazing information that you'll be able to share. It has multiple legs beyond just the research report as well. So, and beyond just getting people in the pipeline. So really do conduct those interviews. Then we're going to naturally share the results. And finally, follow up with the right fit prospects. So not just everybody, you're conducting the interview. You'll see who are the right fit prospects, and that's who you're going to follow up with. Look, this is just ultimately an overview. There's list building, there's interview frameworks, how to ask those questions to get the information that you want that'll be helpful. There's follow-up sequences. It's a complete system that we teach inside of our program. It's preheating as well. But look, the point is you need a systematic way to create demand. And this is just one proven approach that's working right now. But creating demand is ultimately useless if you can't capture it. And that brings me to strategy number 2. Look, strategy number 2 is to build your capture system. Now, here's what most businesses do wrong. They get attention, they drive traffic, they create interest, and then it's gone. No email captured. There's no retargeting pixel, nothing. It's kind of like spending, say, $10,000 to fill a room with your ideal clients and then locking the doors so nobody can get in. You need what I call conversion checkpoints. So here's how it looks. All right. So the first component is high value lead magnets. Now, I'm not talking about subscribe to our newsletter garbage. I'm talking about lead magnets that offer industry benchmark reports, ROI calculators, strategy frameworks, case study libraries, strategies, free book, etc. One of our clients created a scorecard, just a simple 10-question assessment, takes 3 minutes. Every single day, he'll get about 1 to 3 prospects filling it out. So that's the first one. The second component is retargeting. Look, you need a retargeting infrastructure. That means install the pixels on every page. If somebody visits your website, watches your video, downloads your content, you need to be able to stay in front of them. Look, most prospects, they need a minimum of 7 to 13 touch points, with some research saying as much as 36 different touch points before they're ready to buy. So if you're not retargeting, you are bleeding money. And then thirdly, we've got systematic follow-up. Now, this is where strategy number 3 actually comes in. So strategy number 3, it's actually called the 9-word email. Now, this is a strategy. I want to give credit where credit's due. It was originally designed by my friend Dean Jackson, and it's the fastest way to re-engage dead leads. So picture this. The subject line might just say, quick question, all lowercase. And in the body, just the first name followed by, are you still interested in whatever that specific outcome is? So are you still interested in working with us to fill your sales pipeline? That's as simple as it is. Are you still interested in, and then follow it up. Now, it might be more than 9 words. It's just called the 9-word email, but that's it. It's that simple. First name, are you still interested in working with us to fill your sales pipeline, whatever that might be? That's it. You don't add any more, no less, no pitch, no links, no hope you're doing well, no explanation. That is it. I mean, earlier this year, I had about 75 leads in my CRM and they went cold. Didn't hear anything back from them for about 90 or so days. So I sent the exact email to them. Here's how it worked out. 22 responded, 11 said yes, and then 8 booked calls. So do the math. That's 8 calls, and it took me like 5 minutes to send it. So why does it work? First, it's unexpected. No one sends emails this short. It's non-threatening because there's no sales pressure, and it forces a decision. It's yes or no. It's simple. So the people who respond yes, they're raising their hand saying, I'm ready to talk right now. So then let's talk about what you're going to do this week. Go into your CRM, find every lead that's gone cold in the past 90 days, then send them the 9-word email, and then just watch your calendar fill up. All right, so I just covered 3 core strategies, and there's a lot more. We're just scratching the surface, but I also promised you a bonus. So your bonus is a LinkedIn secret weapon. So 86% of B2B buyers are on LinkedIn. Now, you know that, but here's what you don't know. There is a feature inside of LinkedIn Sales Navigator that almost nobody uses, and it's called Generate Insights. Get a load of this. All right, so here we are on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Now, what you want to do is you want to pull up a company. Let's just say HubSpot as an example. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull up a company. Now you could pull up basically any company that you want. Then you want to click this button over here, Generate Insights. And as you click that button, one of the things that you'll notice is it begins to pull up different information. LinkedIn's AI will tell you the different key decision makers. It'll tell you recent company announcements, current challenges that they might be facing, and so forth. It's also going to tell you, you ready for this? It's going to tell you how your service connects to their needs. Notice it's because I sell board of directors. Board of our directors is our specific coaching offer, right? So board of directors is our core offer, and it's showing how HubSpot will connect to board of directors. But here's a little trick that most people miss. You actually have to set it up first. So the way that you're going to set it up is you're going to go over to admin, then you're going to go to product and services and hit managed products. And then you're going to add your offering. You're just going to click over here, add products, and you're going to put the details of your products. And that's as simple as you could add the product name and the URL. But then once you do that, it gives you a general description, but you're going to want to go into a lot more detail. As you can see, we did here. The more detail, the better the ultimate output, right? So you're going to want to describe what you do, who you serve, the problems you solve, et cetera, et cetera. So the cool thing is then when you go back into Sales Navigator and you pull up a company, so let's pull up a little bit of a smaller company. Let's pull up SEMrush. You pull up another company, and now, as you generate insights, it gets personalized for all your different talking points. Super, super cool. Look, so here's what you do. You want to find your dream client's company. Then you want to click on that Generate Insights. You want to add all the decision makers. See, you can get this information over here, who the decision makers are, and then you can further refine it into the geography or the specific category or whatever that might be. You can further refine it, but you got all the decision makers there. You want to engage with their content. I'm talking about likes and meaningful comments. So engage with the decision makers' content. Send personalized connection requests once they start to engage back with you, whether they have checked out your profile or they've replied to one of your comments, and then start conversations based on their own actual challenges. So this is absolutely incredible for starting sales conversations. You're using LinkedIn Sales Navigator to add them to lead lists. You're leaving thoughtful comments. Now I'll use this one. I'm looking to nail down a great partner. I'll leave a meaningful comment. The CEO will often respond to my comment. We move it to DMs and then we book a call. And then you get this magic moment when you get on that call and the prospect says, I feel like I see you everywhere. Which you can do if you use our preheating strategy, which I'll share with you in another video. But the conversation, it completely changes. You see, no skepticism. There's no resistance. There's no cold start. You're talking like you're old friends. There's more opportunity on LinkedIn than ultimately you could ever handle. Your ideal clients, they're posting every single day. Literally, they're telling you what problems that they're facing. If you're not getting leads, it's not because there aren't any opportunities. It's because you're not executing the strategies that ultimately capture them. All right, so let's zoom out for a second. Here's the paradigm shift that you must take. Stop thinking of lead gen as a bunch of random tactics. Start thinking of them as an operating system with those three integrated parts: create demand, capture demand, and ultimately nurture demand. You see, when you create demand through authority positioning, then you capture that demand through strategic assets, then you nurture demand into sales-ready prospects. My friends, you get predictable pipeline growth, not feast or famine, not hoping and praying, predictable. The businesses that are scaling past 7 and 8 figures, they all have this system. The businesses stuck at the same revenue year after year, they're skipping steps. They're taking shortcuts. They're gambling with their growth. So here's what you do right now. Click the link below or visit start.predictableprofits.com/community. Now, we've got a ton of additional resources, strategies, and insights to help you fill your sales pipeline. Now, you're getting in for free, and you're surrounded with other 6, 7, and 8-figure CEOs that are seeking to grow faster, more predictably, and then less dependent on themselves. So before you go, just one uncomfortable question. If you can't generate leads predictably, do you really have a business? Or do you have an expensive hobby that's slowly dying? Because real businesses have systems. Real businesses generate predictable revenue. Real businesses, they don't leave growth to chance. So what are you going to build? I hope this helps. This is Charles Gaudet, and I will see you in another video.